a chunk from a favorite book that you remind yourself of every other day, every second day, every week? Is there something that you refer back to in your mind without having to look at said book?
Um, Not really, because out of all of the books, you kind of all of them work together. But I couldn't say at the moment that there's one in particular.
Mm.
Um, there's something I've been listening to recently, and it refers back to it's something called The Stranger's Secret by Napoleon Hill, and it's the book is Think and Grow Rich, and it talks to you about the power of the mind and how the wealthy think. Um, that's sort of been something that I've been focusing on and kind of revisiting. The power of the mind, auto suggestion, and it talks about self affirmation and so on and so on in there. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's that's where I am at the moment with that one. And a lot of people have read that book and used the principles from it to achieve their goals. But when you're saying about a particular statement, I would say that they all kind of work together. I won't be able to give you something straight away off the top of my head that
All
stands
right.
out from that, because everything kind of just works together
Yeah, I
for me.
understand. I guess I'll challenge you. I would challenge you then. I'd say, out of everything that you've listened to on Think and Grow Rich, what's jumped out at you up to date so far? What one has you've gone? Ah, I like that because I enjoy listening to that. I've listened to that about 4 or 5 times. Think and Grow Rich.
By the way, The Stranger's Secret was by Earl Nightingale.
Yeah, oh no, yeah. But the book, Think and Grow Rich, is Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
You got 2 books on the go. Anyway, so you've been listening. So you've been listening to Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
What's jumped out at you?
Yeah, well, I've tried to revisit it again. Sort of revisit it again. Auto suggestion. You know, how we can actually use our mind to, in a way that is a lot of people don't actually use it. One of the things that I've liked in that as well, in particular, is the mentality that we have in regards to the seed planting again, because it goes through that in there, and talks about how whatever we plant in our minds is what's gonna grow. And in particular, there's talking about a man driving a plow through a field, and you've got this massive plow, and he's churning up the field with it, and this little small man is controlling that big bit of mechanical equipment. And the same thing happens in our mindset, in our mentality, when we actually allow a thought to sort of take its ground in our life. The same thing happens, you know, and that one little thought can control the rest of your life if you allow it to. You know, so it's the importance of being able to use the mind in the right way in order for you to get the right outcomes from it.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think there's something that books like that, excuse me, they mention it, but they don't drum it home. So you're right. That thoughts like that can change your life, but without daily practice, without practicing the clues daily, you're not changing your life. You're changing your day, which essentially changes 7 days, which changes a week, which changes 4 to 5 weeks, which changes a month, which changes 12 months, which changes years. And I think that's one thing that if I think back and wonder why I never heard the clues, or I never listened to the clues in the past, it's recognizing that it's a daily job, an inside daily job. These clues need to be practiced daily. You can't flick a switch, flick it on, flick it off, flick it on, flick it off, because then that's when your habits aren't consistent. And when your habits aren't consistent, then your mind and the message that you're putting out into the universe, or the message that you're giving yourself, isn't consistent. So how do you expect to indefinitely change your path, or open up the path in front of you that you're supposed to walk, if you're not doing these things daily? But no, I enjoy Think and Grow Rich. It's probably one of the first audiobooks I downloaded, but I wasn't ready to listen to it. I wasn't ready at the time to listen to it. My mind wasn't completely open. I think it might have been in and around the time that we first crossed paths. Mr. Simpson, thank you, Mr. Moran. Mr. Simpson, something that you've read recently, or in the past, and you remind yourself of daily, or recently jumped out at you going, that's a nugget and a half.
Yeah, I recently read something which was talking about the power of change, and how predictable change is in the lives of everybody, and how it spoke about how inherent change is part of creation. Yeah, it's part of life. It's part of our experience, everyday experience. It's a natural thing that happens. Change happens naturally. It also talks about, mankind and, how we have the power to determine and design the change that we desire to have. So whether that be in business, whether that be in our relationships, whether it be at home, things that, change a car, it doesn't matter what it is, but the power of change and what change can do, like we spoke about it before, but it also referenced it in this book where it talked about the will behind the power of the change. Yeah. Something simple is like clearing out your wardrobe, things that you haven't worn for the last 2 years, probably won't wear them again. So get rid of them. Yeah. Hangers that hang on their own, not serving a purpose, get rid of them. Yeah. Broken hammers, closed jackets that you haven't worn for years, or something that's got something that you've dry cleaned years ago and haven't put it back on, but just in case an occasion comes up, I'll keep it. And then you put it on and it doesn't fit anyway, but you put it back in the plastic and think, yeah, one day I'll fit into it, blah, blah, blah. So all of those things, as we change those things, it gives us a new power. It might only be within the mind, but it's a new power, because what we've done is that we've cleared out space to make room for something new and fresh, which will then inspire us to go out and do something else. So that was the best thing. That was the thing that jumped out at me recently, because I just realized that, that's the template for all our lives, a change. And if we get into that and don't allow change to throw us off course, but allow us to be renewed by the change, then it's a good thing. Yeah. Hence why I said, this weekend, I cut off. I mean, well, especially, well, I wouldn't say the whole weekend, but certainly yesterday, I certainly cut off everything. I cut off my phone, cut off everything, and I just blocked. And that was a nice change for me because usually I'm doing something. But yesterday, I did absolutely nothing. Didn't get involved with my phone, didn't pick up a computer once, didn't pick up my phone once. I was just telly and read and slept. So for me, it was just a nice welcome change. And it puts you in another place, puts you in a power. Because when you're still, you think a lot clearer than when you have all the other distractions going on. But when you're still, you can invest in yourself in that way because you find a new sense of vigor. Is that the right word? New vigor, new energy, and you start seeing things naturally, and then you start getting clearer ideas about what you need to do. It also gives you new confidence. You know, it gives you new confidence about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, who you're going to deal with, how you're going to deal with it. And it just puts you in a nice, calm, restful place with a new vigor. So, yeah, that's the thing that jumps out at me that I've read recently. The power of change.
Power of change.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot because, well, it ties into to majority of what we discussed, especially the breadcrumb that you left last week, the week before, about you are a decision away from changing stuff.
Yeah.
And then the power of that change leads to this new vigor, this new confidence, this new outlook or sight. Maybe being still allows you to rise to the balcony above, so you're just that little bit higher up and you can see that little bit more.
Absolutely.
So no wonder it stuck with you, because some of the messages that you've been sharing recently and has jumped out. I appreciate that. I think that was the direction of what I wanted to go on, and then maybe latch on to is understanding that change is good, understanding that we are building this path for ourselves where we are positive, where we are actioning, where we might be facing moments of vulnerability to those that are around us, to really share our emotions and our feelings, and let them understand that, hey, I'm struggling, or hey, this is how I feel about something. But even though we're starting to build this path, that there's still change to come. There is a moment where we're going to have to be flexible and embrace that and embrace the new change. I think I've walked down this path before, but not with this mindset that the flow of this new river that we've carved out, and when it's nice and calm is one thing, and you're, do you know what, I can change, I can tweak that, I can action that, I can be positive from this corner rather than being fearful before. Oh, you know what, there's a big boulder in the middle, why don't we just believe or understand that boulder isn't actually a problem. But what happens, or what could happen for others, or what we face is the current of the river speeds up. The current actually changes because of these actions that we're making, because of these beliefs that we're carrying, because of the way that we are acting as hybrids or being hybrids and making those habits stick, having consistency within our actions. That the current of the river speeds up, the flow speeds up, and all of a sudden you're recognizing things, and then now it's time to deal with those things. If you have an action to email 100 people and you manage it, something that you didn't think you had time to do, you email 100 people, or before you know it, you have 80 replies. So the current of your day and the time and your dedication to those 100 emails has now been fruitful, and you've got 80 responses. Now you've got to deal with the 80 responses. now you respond to these 80 emails, you know, oh wait, you get 60 back plus 20 extra that weren't included in the first 100 emails, because you're starting to move, because your river's starting to flow. And I think that's real, to think of the power of change and believe that it's part of nature, or it's naturally going to grow and naturally going to speed up. I think having that in the mind before actioning can be incredibly positive. Having that seed in place, like, right, so if I jump, I know I'm going to get busy. If I practice like this, and if I put myself out like that, and I, you know, let's make it a tiny bit specific without singling anybody out. But if I start recording my sessions as a coach, and I start putting them out there on YouTube and LinkedIn and Twitter and all of the social media platforms, I'm going to start getting individuals come back to me and, oh, how do I do this and how do I do that? And I have to be prepared for the response to my actions. And that's something that I'm trying to embrace at this moment. How am I going to react? Or I have to be prepared for the response and the reactions to my actions, and ensure that there's somewhere I can go with it. And it ties into, I've been thinking about all weekend, really, been thinking about a meeting about what's the plan? What is the plan? It's great to have steps. It's great to have actions. It's great to step forward. It's great to be confident. It's great to feel confident. It's great to have the chat with the man in the mirror or the girl in the mirror and go, I am going to be better tomorrow. To be better tomorrow, I am going to do this today. Understanding that tomorrow will be busier because of my actions today. So it's better and busier, and being able to manage that, because I think that's things of the past where they can really, really maybe have a hold on us, or maybe put that extra bit of weight on our shoulders. But if our shoulders are rolled back and we're braver after our new learnings or the new habits that we're that we're taking on board, and we are going to be really making an impact, it's understanding that not consequences in a bad way, not repercussions in a bad way, but definitely reactions to our actions. And I think that's a real strong habit to take on board. That's the habit where you're not blindsided by anything. And I'd love to throw it back at you, but has there been a moment or an experience or a story that you can pull up from the past, a reference point where you or you know of a story or a clue that about being blindsided by your own work? Is there something that kind of goes, every action has a reaction? Because I think that's the part of the river that, oh wait a minute, I have to swim a little bit faster because I've sped this machine up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the best thing that the way I can answer that is, you know, we're prepared for it. When we put ourselves in that position, I mean, Des and I, we have many programs, but there's one program that we use, which is called ACT, yeah, and it talks about being aware, pause, and practice, yeah. So when you're aware of what you need to do, you pause, because you just need to think about how this is going to happen, what's going to happen, what could possibly happen. You're taking a balcony view, basically, and you're looking across the whole thing. What could happen? Could this happen? You're looking at all the eventualities. You're looking at the things that could go positive, looking at things that could go negative. You're looking at the things that could make you busy, all those factors. And then you practice, yeah? Then you go into the practice. And when you practice, nothing will surprise you then, because you've looked at all the eventualities, yeah? So you're aware. Remember, the first step was your awareness. So that's self-awareness and awareness of other people, awareness of the situation. And when you have that awareness around you, there's not very much that will hit you on the blind side that you that you weren't looking for, or that you weren't expecting, because you looked at all the eventualities. And even those that you may have missed will still not surprise you, because you were aware that there could be negatives. And you don't know all the negatives. You can't list them all down because you don't always know and have that foresight. But you know there are negatives going to come. So whatever negatives they come, you know that you're going to deal with them. And you know that when they come, you may not be have the tools to deal with them at a point, but you will find the tools simply because you're in that mode. You know that things are going to come, and now you're looking at solution-orientated mindset to deal with that. And then you go and practice. So that alone will stop procrastination. Procrastination will kill us. Procrastination kills all of us. And I recognize that in myself a lot of ways, because, you know, and I had to, and day by day, I'm trying to kill that, because procrastination will help us to stop achieving the things that we need to achieve and stop doing the things that we need to do. Procrastination is the killer of dreams. It is, and it's the killer of energy and all of those things. So if we go back to your question, is we just need to be aware, fully aware of all situations. And then we pause, like I did yesterday. I just did nothing. I paused, being aware of everything that's going on, things that happen in the week, things that people have said to me that I've registered, things that I have to think about for the future, things that I have to put in place for the future. And then I go and practice. So this week, there'll be a lot of people hearing things from my thoughts that I had yesterday. And that will make a difference. So that's the important thing. Be aware, pause, and then go and practice. You've muted yourself, Jack.
I like that. I think that they are clear ways to process where I was getting at, because you have to be aware of the actions that you're taking and being aware of the reactions that come back, or those feelings, like you say, or those messages that you put out there to others. You have to understand that there's going to be reactions from that. Pausing, embracing, giving yourself time to be aware of those things around you, and then trying to practice. I like that a lot. I think that's sounds like an incredible program from Mastermind Academy. Incredible program. Mr. Moran, I know your cogs are turning. I know there's a few notes that you've taken. How about yourself? Is there a story? 'Cause I know.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a story, but I started off by saying about the power of auto-suggestion, and like Joseph said about being aware of how important it is to, and what you said about putting it into practice daily, because the fact of the matter is there's no point in reading and learning and understanding and engaging in all this stuff if you're not going to actually put it into practice. But you've got to be aware, man. We are real people. We're real people, man. You know, and stuff happens, and we got to understand that yes, we're engaged in all of this information that's life changing and changes outcomes around you, affects people around you as well. But we're human beings, and sometimes we act like we're perfect and we're not. You know, you want real talk. Excuse me.
100%.
You want real talk. Sometimes we act like we're perfect and we're not. We have flaws, and it's important to recognize that we have flaws and act on them. You know, even though we conduct programs and so on and do all sorts of things for other people, we have to constantly be aware and working on ourselves, and don't allow things to blindside you. And we do get blindsided, man. That's the reality of it, is that we do get blindsided. We get blindsided on the smallest things. And I can relate to that, because, you know, it's so important to have your armor on, because the moment you get a chink in your armor, which is what happens, things seep in. You know, if you're a underwater diver and you've got a slit or a small little hole in your suit, eventually that hole's going to get big. It's going to allow stuff in, and it's going to have an effect. So we have to be constantly aware of this, man. And your thinking, man. Thinking is to me is the area. Thoughts become things. This is what it says in Think and Grow Rich. Thoughts become things, and thoughts can have a huge effect on you. I can give you an example where I got blindsided, and for one day, you know, it caused me to actually get to the point where I had physical pain in my body because of this thought. And it was afterwards that I realized, and I had a discussion with my wife, and I said to her, do you know what? I know what's caused this. Your thinking has such a huge effect on your body, on your physical state. And I said to her, I know what's caused this. It's this thought that I've allowed to kind of corrupt my whole mindset. And if I didn't go through that experience, then I wouldn't understand how important your thinking actually is. So you talk about being blindsided, man. Come on, man. We're human beings. We're gonna have flaws. Things are gonna happen that we're not expecting, you know. And we just got to recognize that, because, you know, I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend about being, and we said this before, about being Superman. We ain't Superman. You know, we act like we are continuously, but Superman's got his own kryptonite, and we've got to be aware of that. So we sometimes put on this this persona that we're perfect, but what we've got to understand is that we ain't perfect, and things will trip us up from time to time. But it's recognizing what's tripping you up and then being able to deal with it. You know.
A chunk from a favorite book that you remind yourself of every other day, every day, every second day, every week. Is there something that you refer back to in your mind without having to look at said book?
So that's the important thing. Be aware, pause, and then go and practice.
Things, and thoughts can have a huge effect on you. I can give you an example where I got blindsided, and for one day, you know, it caused me to actually get to the point where I had physical pain in my body because of this thought. And it was afterwards that I realized, and I had a discussion with my wife, and I said to her, do you know what? I know what's caused this. Your thinking has such a huge effect on your body, on your physical state. And I said to her, I know what's caused this. It's this thought that I've allowed to kind of corrupt my whole mindset. And if I didn't go through that experience, then I wouldn't understand how important your thinking actually is. So you talk about being blindsided, man. Come on, man. We're human beings. We're gonna have flaws. Things are gonna happen that we're not expecting, you know. And we just got to recognize that, because, You know, I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend about being, and we said this before, about being Superman. We ain't Superman. You know, we act like we are continuously, but Superman's got his own kryptonite, and we've got to be aware of that. So we sometimes put on this this persona that we're perfect, but what we've got to understand is that we ain't perfect, and things will trip us up from time to time. But it's recognizing what's tripping you up and then being able to deal with it. You know, don't fake yourself out, man. You know what I mean? You know what really gets to me is when I see people and they act like they're superhuman, and you listen to them, and everything is. We've been in that scenario many times, and you listen to them, and it's, yeah, I'm fantastic, super fantastic, marvelous, excellent, and all this kind of stuff, man. And then you look at them and say, yeah, really. Let me ask you a question. How are you really? You know what I mean? Forget all that. Tell me the truth. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
And then they say, well, actually, yeah, I've got this going on, that going on. Well, yeah, man, keep it real. I know you're great. I know you're marvelous and everything else, but how are you really? Give me, you know, how are you really? Don't fake it out, man. Don't just be real, man. Be real, because real people connect with real people. You know what I mean? Realness connects with realness.
Yeah.
And if Jeff and I are doing a session with anybody, like we said it before, the first thing that we say in that session is be real. Don't come with no fake stuff, man, because the fake stuff ain't gonna help you. The fake stuff's gonna hurt you if you're trying to put this persona on and trying to make yourself look fantastic and marvelous in front of people. Just be real, man. You know what I mean? We're real people. We have real stuff that goes on. You know, some people have got this mentality that I've got a family and we have real talk in our family, and our family is real. You come to my house, you know, you're going to see stuff. Jeff knows, you're going to come to my house, you're going to see stuff. It's real family stuff, man. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be this perfect. You're walking through the door, and your wife greets you with a kiss and a smile, and she takes you to the dinner table and she sits you down and you eat your dinner, and everybody around the family is sweetness and light and all that kind of thing, man. No, man, it's real stuff. Everyone goes through some real stuff, and you just got to be real about it. Yeah. And that's, if you want to, I mean, the blind siding for me is just, you just got to be aware. Just picked up on that, aware, aware, and pause, you know, and practice. Yeah, you got to be aware that you are a human being with human faults, you know, and you are a human being that gets faults sometimes in your head. That's going to trip you up, yeah, and it's going to trip you up. But then it's how you respond and you react to it that's going to matter the most. You know, it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. So just be real, man, for crying out loud, man. I'm done with all the fake business, man. You know what I mean? I'm done with that a long time ago. Just be real with the whole situation. If you're going through stuff, be real. You're going through stuff. Don't try and cover it over because you're now on this positive mindset. You're going to have moments where you're going to be knocked off track. Yeah, of course you are. You're human. If you weren't human, then you know, you'd be a robot and things would just work out. You know, due to your programming. You know, because robots don't have feelings. We do as humans. We have feelings. We have faults. We have everything. But you got to accept them for what they are.
Real talk, hybrid hour, Monday morning. Success crumbs from Mastermind Academy. Breadcrumbs from the past. to allow us to take real steps forward. Don't fake yourself out is something I wouldn't have listened to. What do you mean? I ain't being fake. This is me. But I, you know, when I'm on this journey at the moment, I can really hear. I can really hear that 20 to 24, 5-year-old voice. What are you being positive for? What do you mean you're thankful for? What do you like? What are you on about? I can hear. I can hear that person, and boy, would love to grab him by the scruff of the neck. Really grab him by the scruff of the neck, because we act like we'd be perfect, and then that's where we fall over. That is truly where we fall over. We either put too much weight on our shoulders, we either put too much pressure on ourselves and those around us. And I think they are clear messages on how to take real steps forwards in it, and habits. 3 times, 3 weeks, 3 months to create a habit that's going to stick. I believe somewhere in my mind that's just jumped out at me, and that's a real short window of time. And we can actually scale it with this whole with this pandemic. We can scale stuff quite easily. I think before the pandemic, maybe a year ago, maybe this, maybe that, but even this window of we're out of full lockdown in the UK by the 1st of June. 1st of June, 21st June, one of the firsts. I'm not really taking any notice, but that was a 3-month process. The path back to normality was 3 months. So we can scale new habits straight away, and I guess that's nature in its course. Probably why it's taken this long. That's why their path has been this long. Maybe. Lots to think about. Again, it's kind of. It's one of those discussions this morning that's kind of. I need to pause. I need to absorb things around us. Those that have been trying things especially on Zoom and in ClubHouse, but those of us that are watching in Zoom in the audience, and they're really understanding. Wait a minute, I did that last Monday because I thought it was a good idea, or I wanted to action it. Have I revisited it since last Monday? Have I made it consistent? Have I tried to make it a habit since, or was it just a Monday thing? And I believe that's the kind of the undertone of the current of this flow of the river. Is it can't just be a Monday thing. It can't just be a Tuesday thing. It can't just be a weekend thing. It has to be daily, revisited, and gone over and over again. Because a good idea on Monday should be a good idea on Tuesday, and it'll still be a good idea by Thursday and Friday. And it's each day. How am I going to impact tomorrow? Impact tomorrow. Impact tomorrow. Impact tomorrow. It might be a small step. It might be a phone call. It might be a message. It might be, half an hour on somebody else's website. It might be just surfing the net. It might be grabbing a water bottle, grabbing a towel, grabbing I don't know, dumbbells and heading out to a space where you can work out. Whatever it might be, it has to be daily. It has to be recurring.
There's an expression that comes back when you mention daily, and it's and I used to have it written up on my wall, and it says daily disciplines create rewards. So I used to have the disciplines that I wanted to implement on a daily basis to create the reward that I'm looking for. And one of them was reading something relevant each day for 15 minutes or so. And the other one was spending quality time with the family, like proper quality time, not just being present and then heading off again. Proper quality time with the family. So whatever it is for your daily discipline, that's going to create a reward. Make a list of them and put it up somewhere. In fact, I used to have it in pretty much every room of the house. And then I took them down because they become sort of embedded in you anyway, part of your process.
Was that the disciplines that you had written down, or the rewards?
The disciplines.
Disciplines.
Yeah. So each discipline that I wanted to practice, and as Jeff said, be aware of, was written down.
But there's so we're on our third list. We're on our third list. So we are a list of what we are thankful for, grateful for. A list of what we're going to get. Oh, we're a fourth list. A list of what we're going to get. A list of things that we don't want, or don't want to go, or don't want to be. And then a list of disciplines. That's a strong framework, personal framework of how or who we are and want to be. I can envisage the image straight away, and it's something I might work on today. That's maybe how I impact my tomorrow, personally. It's focus on me day again. I think that's the energy that I've got. That pause and be aware. It's that focus on me day. Not really. Well, the extra time that I have, the half an hour on the tube, the 45 minutes walking from X to Z, the bus journey, the tea break, the coffee break, those small snippets of time I'm going to spend on today is creating or putting those lists together in one place, because I think that's a truly powerful tool, powerful framework, because we have to speak it into existence, right? We have to speak it into existence. And I, like you, there's in front of me, I have the quote, "Get all in," and a big smiley face. Get all in. And I think that's one way that you know what's in there. If I'm getting all in to see what's all in there, that those four lists, that little bodywork of personal framework for myself is definitely one way that I can jump in. I can see it and I can step into those. I can physically go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And really start to tick off. So that's how I'm going to impact my tomorrow. I think that's a truly powerful tool. So thank you. And it's naturally, wound itself together. I think we spoke about, positive affirmations in like week 2. Like show 3 or show 4 of making sure that we understand what we want and what we're thankful for. I think must have been week 2, week 1 at least, week 2 at least. And now we've come around, full circle, and we're at 3.5 months, and now we've just got this great embodiment of work of gratefulness, future, daily disciplines, and things that we don't want to go and don't want to do. They are hybrid habits to a T. And I've got this nice little energy of a body of work to focus on. To round up, I just want to share this. So I spoke to Des, I think at the start. I can't remember what time of the call, but I want to go over it again. Yesterday about 8 p.m. last night, really relaxed day. The family, went to safari, and Lily met lions and bits and bobs, and so did Amelia and I. To be fair, I think we were more excited than Lily, right? And we had this incredible day, and 5 or 6 hours out of the house. Phone was only there really to capture memories, and the internet wasn't gone on, or none of that stuff. Right, I didn't watch sports, which I normally do on a Sunday. Like, I didn't get to watch the race. I didn't watch the final day of the Premier League. All of that just got parked, and it was about the three of us. And it got to about 8:30, and I hit that wall. Exhausted, right? Like, the dishes and tomorrow's laundry, and let's press that stuff and pack that bag, and know that set up today's. Set up, all of that was in the back of my. I just didn't want to do it. No, I don't want to sit still, but I had stuff to do, and Amelia and I just looked at each other, and it was kind of like, hey, 3, 2, 1, beast mode. And within 45 minutes, everything that had to be done. So like a fresh load of laundry came out, laundry went in. Table got set up for this morning, lunch got made for today, bag got packed, uniform and bits are ready to go, and it was literally that 3-second countdown and the little reminder, beast mode, just to get myself out of that Sunday evening rut where it was really easy that I could have found a 2.5 hour film and sat there until midnight. And those are the moments. I just wanted to share that, because those are the moments that you catch yourself and you go bang, and you react and you act and you get things done. And the feeling after, incredible. The feeling after was incredible. I'm not looking at stuff to do today because I did it yesterday. I made today easier yesterday by just acting and being a beast. On that note, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us for the hybrid hour across Clubhouse and Zoom webinar. Mr. Desmond, Mr. Jeff Simpson from Mastermind Academy. Thank you for sharing those notes of wisdom, especially parts of your program that you deliver. I'm definitely going to take that into some sort of daily practice. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you and your time, and you as humans. You are maybe not perfect, but you are effing super incredible. So thank you for your time. It is much appreciated. Hopefully we catch up a little bit later. I would ask you tomorrow's call, 6:15 to 7:15, a little piece, a little passage from something that you're listening to or reading at the moment, just a small few things. And what can you tie to one of your daily disciplines? What can you tie to one of your daily habits? I'd love to hear about that tomorrow morning. Those that have joined us on Zoom, thank you very much. Yeah, don't be shaking your head. Yes, don't be shaking it. Thank you very much for joining us on Zoom. Thank you very much for joining us on Clubhouse. And again, have an incredible day. Be bold, be brave, and be present. Blessings, peace, love to all. In a bit.